And so we stumbled across MADabolic as simply because of their deload. Somehow I came across the deload hashtag, clicked on it, and I saw MADabolic. I was like, what the hell is MADabolic? You know, I never heard of it. So I started looking, I'm like, they're a group fitness concept. How do they convince their people to do a deload? How do you convince these individuals that think they need to go hard constantly? To now we need to take a whole week of no weight training. We're going to take it a little bit easier on our CNS and recover. I'm like, how do they convince them to do that? So then that's what kind of got me down the rabbit hole of MADabolic. But mainly, it wasn't necessarily the workout that kind of got us. It was more along the lines of their philosophy and their culture is what drove us and guided us toward them. We didn't experience their workouts until basically almost a year from the point I first found them. In that time frame, they did release the virtual during COVID. So when COVID shutdown happened, they had a virtual program that him and I jumped on, and we're like, hey, let's see if this is something that we can like from a program standard. And so we did the virtual, and it was fucking awesome. Downright the best program I've done virtually when it comes to minimum equipment.
That's really, you know, what sold you was the at-home thing with, what was the equipment list? A kettlebell?
Yeah, all you need is one element. You need a kettlebell, a dumbbell, or a backpack.
A lot of times.
Or a backpack. And that's what was like, yeah.
Or suitcase.
That's fucking incredible. I did not know that part of the story. And then, so are you like sitting there, you get a text message one day like, bro, you got to check this out. And like, now you're telling him the story and pulling him down the rabbit hole too?
Mm-hmm. This is actually kind of a funny part of the story. So that was the beginning of 2020. That was February of 2020. We're getting all this set up. I am still competing at that time. So I was with Team Conquer, and we were getting ready to go to the Atlas Games. My plan was 2020, we're going back to the CrossFit Games. I went in 2018. Off in 2019, my daughter was born. 2020, I'm going back. Let's do this. COVID happened. A couple of different things happened where I was like, you know what? Let's focus more on the business. I already had the mindset of this is what I do to compete, and this is what everyone else is getting, CrossFit class. And I understood that they don't see what's really going on here. They don't know what's going on behind the curtain kind of thing. I already had that in my mind. We'd already been talking about doing something different, doing something better. Then we found MADabolic. He actually found it and didn't tell me for like 2 weeks. He's like, hey, I just want you to try this thing. So I tried it after a training session one day. I was like, wow, that was really good. A couple of weeks later, we started doing it together. And then from there, I was like, you know what? I really, really like this. Let's look more into it. This is something we could replicate. And this is something that really like speaks to what we believe fitness is about and what it should be for the general public. And then just slowly over a couple of weeks and a couple of months, I was like, you know what? I really, let's seek it further. And that's what we did. And now it's all I do.